Have you ever noticed? All around us, in the house or at work, there are so many bottles, containers, or utensils that we've already used up but still feel reluctant to throw away, thinking we could reuse them to store spices, dry snacks, or other little things very conveniently. Or simply because we want to clean up newly bought items to make everything tidier and neater. But most of these items still have their product labels stuck on. They may look nice when new, but when it's time to peel them off, it's truly a nightmare. The labels tear apart, the glue gets all sticky and messy, scraping doesn't help, wiping doesn't work. Every time we see it, it's frustrating all over again. But don't worry. Today, Tracy will show you a lightning-fast label removal trick. No matter what material it's on, whether it's glass jars, plastic containers, or stainless steel kitchenware, everything comes off sparkling clean in just a few minutes. Let's get started right away. First, look no further than your own kitchen. Those pots and pans with the labels still on them are a perfect example. You might have gotten used to seeing them there, but they actually bring more trouble than you think. Typically, stainless steel pots or non-stick pans come with labels stuck directly onto the bottom or the sides. These labels might look neat when new, but once you try to peel them off, they leave behind sticky, messy glue that ruins the appearance and is extremely hard to clean. Some people, not knowing how to deal with it, just leave the label on and keep cooking with it. But this really isn't ideal, especially if you're using a gas stove. The flame can catch on the label and burn it, leaving black marks on your pot. And if the label is too large, it might even affect the food you're cooking. So, for any pot or pan with a label like that, you definitely need to take care of it properly. Actually, handling it is not hard at all. It's just that no one has shown you how. So today, I'll show you a super simple way that every household can do, and that is using a hairdryer. You just need to turn on the hairdryer to the hot air setting, then evenly heat the area with the label for about 1 minute. Be sure to keep a distance of about 1 to 2 centimeters to avoid damaging the metal surface, and gently move the dryer back and forth so the heat is distributed evenly. Did you know that the sticky adhesive on these labels is usually made from organic polymers like acrylate, silicone, or synthetic rubber? These materials are designed to be long-lasting adhesives, especially effective on smooth surfaces like glass, stainless steel, and plastic, because they create electrostatic attraction and van der Waals forces. That's why they stick so firmly. Once the label starts to heat up, you can use your fingernail or the edge of a plastic card to gently lift one corner of the label. If it peels off easily and the glue comes off in one whole piece, that means it's working. If the adhesive is still holding on tight, just apply heat for a few more seconds and try again. The principle behind this method is using heat to soften both the offset printing ink and the adhesive layer underneath the label, making it much easier to remove without leaving sticky residue or glue marks. Most importantly, this method doesn't require using a knife or strong chemical cleaners, which helps protect the surface of your pots and pans. However, this method should only be used on heat-resistant materials like stainless steel or aluminum. It's not recommended for plastic bottles or glass jars, because high heat could cause them to warp or crack. After you've completely peeled off the label, depending on the type of material used for the sticker, the adhesive might come off entirely or leave behind a little bit of sticky residue on the surface of the pot or basin. Don't worry. These leftover bits of glue can be removed completely with just one more step. Simply apply a thin, even layer of hand cream over the sticky area and spread it gently. Wait for about 1 to 2 minutes to allow the adhesive to soften. Finally, use a soft cloth to wipe the area clean. As you can see, the adhesive is completely taken care of, leaving behind a shiny, clean pot that's ready for cooking to your heart's content. It's not just pots and pans. Many people also want to reuse glass jars or plastic bottles after they've been emptied, for things like pickling chili peppers, storing preserved vegetables, keeping spices, or holding grains and cereals. However, reusing them with the original labels still attached can be really annoying. Trying to peel off those labels often turns into a hassle, especially when it comes to the leftover adhesive. It's sticky, messy, and incredibly difficult to remove. I remember I used to try scratching it off with my hands, but it didn't work and even left glue stuck to my fingers. Using dish soap or a scrubber just made the mess worse and still didn't get rid of the sticky residue. It was frustrating just to look at. But now, just by following this method, in less than a minute, the label comes off completely, and all you need is a single bottle of alcohol solution. First, you need to tear off the outer plastic layer of the label, the one with the printed brand name. This is a thin, non-absorbent film, and if you leave it on, the alcohol won't be able to penetrate and dissolve the adhesive underneath. After removing that layer, spray rubbing alcohol, preferably ethanol with a concentration of around 70 to 90%, directly onto the remaining sticky area. Make sure the alcohol covers the entire glued surface, and then let it sit for about 1 minute to allow the solvent to work its magic. Next, if there's still some paper label left, just use your fingers to peel it off. It will come off smoothly. The reason alcohol works so effectively is because ethanol is an amphiphilic organic solvent. It has the ability to dissolve both polar compounds and nonpolar substances like adhesive glue. This allows it to penetrate the glue layer and break down the adhesive bonds, making it easy to wipe clean in just seconds. You can simply use a paper towel to wipe the glue gently, and it will lift off almost completely, leaving no greasy or sticky traces behind. However, there's one small note. You shouldn't apply this method to electronic devices, painted wooden surfaces, or any sensitive materials, because alcohol can dull or peel off the paint layer, affecting the appearance and quality of the item. With just a few simple steps and common household ingredients, you can easily reuse glass jars or plastic bottles for clean, convenient storage, without needing to spend money on new containers. In addition to the two methods using a hairdryer and alcohol mentioned earlier for removing sticky residue, I'll reveal one more very simple method that can still clean off stubborn glue marks, especially on old plastic jars or glass containers with tricky surfaces, using a kind of miracle remedy that every household already has: medicated oil. This isn't just an ordinary topical ointment. This small bottle of essential oil can actually make that stubborn glue vanish in just a few minutes. So, how do you use it? And why is it so effective? Let's get right into it. The method is very simple. First, drop a few drops of medicated oil directly onto the remaining glue after peeling off the label. Make sure the oil fully covers the glue area. Then, let it sit for about 5 minutes so the essential oil has enough time to penetrate and soften the adhesive. Medicated oil evaporates slowly, which allows it to soak and dissolve the glue very effectively. After the waiting time, the glue will come off easily, leaving a clean surface with no more sticky or greasy residue. The effectiveness of this trick comes from the principle of like dissolves like in chemistry, which means organic substances tend to dissolve in each other easily. Adhesive glue is usually an organic compound, and medicated oil also contains organic components like methyl salicylate and peppermint oil, so they can easily dissolve the glue, helping you remove it completely without having to scrub hard or use force. Especially for old glue stains that have dried and hardened over time and are stuck on very firmly, you can apply medicated oil first, then spray a bit of alcohol afterward to enhance the softening and cleaning effect. Just a few minutes of soaking and a single wipe, and everything will be as clean as if there had never been a label at all. This is a simple, safe, and incredibly effective solution, suitable for all kinds of glass jars, plastic bottles, especially for reusable items in the kitchen. A small trick with big value, not only saving money, but also being environmentally friendly. So I've just finished sharing 3 incredibly simple yet effective methods to remove stubborn adhesive glue, using a hairdryer for stainless steel pots and pans, alcohol for glass or plastic jars, and Feng Yujing medicated oil for old glue stains. Each method has its own strengths, so choose the one that best suits the item you're working with. If you know any other helpful tips, don't hesitate to share them with me and everyone else in the comments. Who knows? It might help many more people out there. If you found this video useful, please hit like, share it with your friends, and subscribe to the channel so you won't miss any more awesome tips from me. Thank you for watching, and see you next time.